A little bit too much clay here. Are we running?
We are.
Okay, so the next step we're going to make is a double curve cup. This is a pretty difficult little shape to make nicely, but in the struggle to learn to make it, you really increase your skill level. There again, everything is the same. I'm pulling in narrow, pulling toward me to get it in the center, making it narrow so it's easy to center. I cone the clay up, I cone it back down. And you know, in people that have trouble learning to center, you can practice just doing this. You can then knock it off so it's not running true. And then you take it and you pull it into the center. You have to feel it. It's something you really have to feel. Blind people can learn to throw very well because they can really feel the clay move. Okay? There again, I'm going to open down. I'm going to open out narrow. I'm going to square the bottom. You can see the repetition in this. Set the rim. Get rid of this excess water. Undercut. Claw. Set the rim. It's a narrow bottom piece, so I'm going to undercut in and lift the clay up. I'm going to lift this up and out, but not as wide up and out as I did on the flower pot. Okay. I'm going to undercut in. Now when you're undercutting in at the bottom, you have to have some pressure resistance with the inside finger, so that as you push in, it hits that finger and that clay gets squeezed together and pushed up onto the top of that finger. That's how you get that clay out of the bottom. You see so many pots, especially beginners' pots, they're like lead weights at the bottom. And it needn't be. So I undercut in, and then I lift this wall up and slightly out. There again, my inside finger is up here, my outside finger is underneath that inside finger, lifting up this swell. When I get to the top, my fingers come closer together and I really squeeze out this extra thickness at the top. Then the inside finger rolls onto the top and you set the rim. So now I'm going to take my wooden rib, and on this piece I'm going to have it extended out a little wider than I did on the flower pot, and I'm going to lift up, compressing the clay onto that rib. I go up about 1/3 of the way. I pivot the rib and go in and up and out, hence the double curve, hence the name double curve. Okay, I'm going to do that. You don't normally do this twice. I'm going to do it again just to demonstrate it. So you're lifting up, compressing the clay onto the rib. You go about 1/3 of the way. You pivot the rib. Now when you pivot the rib, you have to relax the pressure a little bit. If you don't, you're going to push this bully way too low. Relax the pressure, then I go in, up, and out. So what I want to do is go out and then in, and I can't just go like that, or I'd stick the point of the rib in the wall. The only way you can do that is to pivot and go slightly sideways. So now you're going to take this inside and outside tool again. I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I'm going to do exactly what I did with the wooden ribs, only with these ribs. I'm going to lift up about 1/3 of the way, pivot the ribs, and go in and up and out. Now I'm going to start forming the bully. I'm going to start about here on the inside, and I'm going to, with the inside tool, I'm going to push out. You can see the bully there that's starting to push out, pushing out and down, and I arc this rib. This rib starts facing away from me, and I'm arcing it so it fits into that nice curve I'm making. Then I'm going to reverse the inside tool and pick up this curve right there and refine this line. And I set the rim. Now I want to make a drinking edge. You know, if you have an edge like that, for example, your lips don't go on it very nicely, and since this is a cup, so I join my thumbs together, wet my fingers, join my thumbs together, the index finger rides on the outside, and the inside finger gently squeezes out to it, just making a little edge that accommodates the lips more. Then I'm going to join my thumbs together, and the inside finger is going to run on the inside of that rim to try to keep it running true, as my outside index finger is going to push in, giving me a foot down there. And there we have the double curve cup. One thing I like to say, I've had people ask me, this is so technical, it's also disciplined, it's also, and how I respond to that is, that's exactly the point, is that you want to learn it. You want to know what you're doing so well and practice and learn what you're doing so well so that you don't have to think about it. If you're always involved with struggling with technique, you're never going to do beautiful work. You have to learn the technique so well, it's just a part of you, so you can forget the technique, as it like a musician, so you can stop playing the notes and you can play the music. And so that's what we want to do. And so if you always do a little something different, you always are improvising, you're always that, then you're always struggling with it. Once you really learn a technique firmly, then you can change it, you can improvise it, but it has to become a part of you, like writing your name. You no longer think about writing your name, you just do it. And it's totally your name. It's totally your signature. And so that's what the pots want to be, totally yours.